Good afternoon, my conscious co-creators. Welcome to another edition of the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity. I'm very, very pleased that you are all here with me today. We've got another wonderful guest in store for you. I hope you will enjoy our show today. But first, of course, we have to start off with our quotes of the day from the universe and from Abraham to kick off the show. Let's see what the universe and Abraham have in store for us today. First, from the universe. Do you have any idea how thoroughly, utterly, and completely I want the very things you want now? Well, let's just say that after visualizing and expecting and acting with faith, they came to you. We're in this together. Banzai, the universe. We love our quotes from Mike Dooley in the universe, kind of reminding us about the basics, about the things we want to manifest, how important it is to visualize, expect, and act with faith. And it's kind of one builds upon the other. So first, we want to really send a very clear message out to the universe of what it is exactly we want. So the way we do that is by really visualizing, getting that image in our mind and putting it out there of letting the universe know, like, this is what I want to feel. These are the kinds of relationships I want to have. This is the kind of world I want to live in. This is the environment I would love to have. And so we do that by visualizing. But what happens when we visualize, we really start to feel it in our body. We get it. We get the emotional mojo going for that. And then we start expecting it. As the more and more we visualize, and Mike Dooley has his 21-day visualization challenge, I think, going on right now. We're in the middle of it. And so then we start expecting, because we're visualizing it so much, we expect these things to actually appear and show up. And then because we're expecting it, we're kind of programming our mind and programming our bodies to then start acting as if it's real. We act with faith. We act as it's inevitable that these things are going to show up. And then you know what happens? They actually show up. I mean, this stuff really works. Now, how long does it take for them to show up? Well, that's kind of in a way up to the universe, but it's also up to us. The less resistance, the more in alignment we get to what it is that we're looking to bring into this world, the more energetically aligned, the less resistance we have, the faster it will come to us. But I always like to say our job is to act as if it's already here, whether it takes a day, a week, a month, a year, or a decade for it to show up. Because the universe knows so much better than we do when is the perfect timing for us, what we need to go through first to really be fully prepared to accept that thing we're looking to manifest, and when we're really gone through all the things we need to go through to then truly not take advantage, but truly appreciate, truly utilize then this gift that this manifestation is for us. So, can we shorten that timeline? Absolutely. The more we line up, the more we work on ourselves, the more we release anything, any old programs, anything that could be resistance to it, the more we do that, the faster it will come to us. And there still can be some things, some pieces that need to be put into place for that to actually show up. So let's not judge the timing to the universe. The universe really knows. Hasn't it always? Haven't things always worked out in the end? Okay, awesome. Let's see what Abraham has in store for us today. From Abraham, you can say things like, I look at successful people, and by that I mean rich people. Yes, I mean happy people. And sometimes they're rich and happy. But when I'm talking about the successful ones, what I really mean is the really happy people. People that are really joyful and that want to get up every day, that are eager to get into their day, almost without exception. They had a pretty rough beginning, which turned them into a powerful rebel initially. And then they found a way to relax into their natural birthright of well-being. Abraham. So what Abraham is talking about here is whenever we talk about this idea of quote unquote successful people, what Abraham is really using, I guess, as the yardstick with which to measure whether someone's truly successful or not is how happy they are. As Abraham likes to say, how tuned in, turned on, tapped in they are to their vortex, how much they are just in love with life, how enthusiastic they are, how joyful they are, how much they are living life from their heart and with so much joy that the success, the riches, they come to them almost automatically. And again, riches do not have to necessarily be money in your pocket or dollar signs in your bank account. You can be wealthy with friendships. You can be wealthy with great health. You can be so prosperous in the influence you have to make a difference in the world. It's not all about dollar signs. It really isn't. And a lot of people who study the law of attraction, a lot of people who teach about what Abraham talks about, I really think they miss this mark, that they think success is all about accumulating wealth, and it is not. Does this mean that we can't be successful and also accumulate wealth? Absolutely. Absolutely. We are all amazingly abundant beings. But to place this yardstick of success on just one aspect of success, and that being money, it does ourselves a tremendous disservice. And it gives the people who've achieved success tremendous disservice. There are people who are making tremendous difference around the world in communities, and maybe very poor communities, very unwealthy communities, but who have tremendous riches by bringing education and things like water and food and infrastructure to those places. Are those people any less successful because maybe their bank accounts isn't quite as large? Not in my book, and I think not in the universe's book either. A teacher I have once said that, this society is very much based on power, and money and power are very equivalent, but it doesn't have to be. And indeed, I think what we're in the middle of right now and what we're witnessing is the shift of the focus around which society is built upon, from that being of power to that being of equality, of that being equanimity, of being valuing these things in life that, especially during this pandemic, during this really challenging time that the entire world is going through, we're learning truly that the material stuff isn't quite as important as is our health, our relationships, our families, our loved ones. That truly we're learning to appreciate and to value those other intrinsic things in life. And I think that's what Abraham is trying to remind us of, that we can be successful in many different ways, not just with our wallets. So I hope you take that to heart. Two wonderful quotes, again, all about visualizing, expecting, acting with faith, and to understand that success is not about dollar bills. It's about that feeling that we cultivate inside, that we live from, that really brings so much joy and energy into our life. So, two wonderful, amazing quotes from Mike Dooley in the Universe and from Abraham, and I think rather apropos quotes for our guest today. And now it is my pleasure to welcome to the show author, speaker, healer, and spiritual teacher, Dr. Lilly Koutcho. Dr. Koutcho is an internationally renowned author and speaker whose healing techniques, affirmations, and positive thinking have inspired countless of people worldwide. Using a combination of neuroscience, pharmaceutical knowledge, energy medicine, and spiritual principles, Dr. Lilly has developed many methods to help people heal in minutes. Dr. Koutcho's healing techniques have helped countless people around the world to create wellness in their bodies and minds, as well as more abundance in their lives. Her healing message has been the subject of many radio shows, TV shows, magazine articles. Dr. Koutcho holds a master's in neuroscience, a master's degree in business administration, and a doctorate in pharmacy. She's the author of several books and the founder of the nonprofit organization Light and Love for Africa. Welcome to the Conscious Consultant Hour, Dr. Lilly.
Thank you so much, Sam, for having me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It is an honor for me for being here today. Thank you.
It's a pleasure for us to have you on the show today and to welcome you to my audience. So I always like to start off getting a little bit of background from people. Did you always have sort of this spiritual side to you? Was natural healing something that you were exposed to from the time you were a child, or is this something that developed later on in life?
This is a really good question. I would say I was really intuitive when I was young. Since I was young, I was born in a Christian family. Mm-hmm. And my family, my mother, she used to pray a lot. So if you have issue, we go to the physician and then we pray also. And the spiritual, I didn't know about the universe, the angels. I knew the angels exist, but I didn't know that. In my mind, when I was young, I believed that they were like in heaven and God is in heaven and we are here. And but I was really intuitive, and I can. Sometimes I have premonition about events that will happen, and my family and my parents know about that. So they just see me as weird, and sometimes they ask me, what kind of dream do you have? And if I tell them that I have a dream about someone, they because with time they just started to see the accuracy of the dreams, so they started taking that really seriously. But nothing spiritual, I was just like everybody, but just with a touch of intuition.
Gotcha. We just got a minute or two before break. I want to ask you, I'm curious, is there any history in your family of people who have had premonitions before, who've had, let's call them special abilities in the past, or is this something that's not really talked about in your family?
It is. This is a really good question. Also, one of my sisters also have a really strong intuition and feelings, and so it just both of us. But my parents started to believe it because one day I remember I had a dream that one of my friend is a friend of my mother, and I have a dream and see I wake up and say I saw him. He was in heaven, like going in heaven, and he was so happy. And we say, what are you talking about? He was like, the guy was about 60 years old. And then the following day, when I woke up, I told my mother it was a Sunday, and we went to church, and then we had the news that he was in a coma. He has and they don't know if he's going to come back or not. But at that time, when he was having an out-of-body experience or something, he was like in ICU in coma, and I was wondering that he was in heaven. And so my parents started to take that seriously. When I say I have something, I get a message for someone or for something, they started to take that seriously.
Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Very interesting. Yeah, I like to ask that question because a number of the people who have had on my show, usually the grandmother, the great-grandmother, or an aunt or uncle, also kind of displayed unusual abilities. So I find that it's not uncommon for this kind of thing to run in families. Not necessarily that it often does, though it is not uncommon. So I just wanted to ask that. Okay, great. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I just want to ask kind of, because you seem to have actually a very grounded background in science and business. And I want to just talk a little bit more about how you kind of got into all of this craziness and kind of what that process was like for you. And then we'll get into the actual work. Okay.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. So everybody, please stay tuned. You're listening to the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity. We do this every Thursday, 12 noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on talkradio.nyc and on Facebook, all live, all over the place. And we will be right back after this. And welcome back to the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity. We're speaking this hour with Dr. Lilly Koutcho. Hope I'm pronouncing that right? Koutcho?
Yes, you did.
So I asked you before the show, but I'm going to ask you on air just for our audience. Where are you originally from?
I am originally from West Africa, Togo. It is a small country in the west
Togo.
side of Africa.
Yes. And when did you come and you're in the United States now. When did you come here?
In 2009, but I was in France before because Togo is a French is our official language. It is a language where we go to school, we do everything. We have like official language and we have like our traditional language. So when I graduated from high school, I went to France to go to school. And then I came here. I spent like 8 years in France. And then I came here in 2009 and in the United States.
So just a little over 10 years now, yeah. Mm-hmm. So now I'm just curious. You started off a degree in neuroscience, a doctorate in pharmacology. It sounds like you were relatively grounded, a very grounded person in business administration. When did this kind of transition, or like when did you start to say like move from this sort of area of being very grounded in science to start moving more towards the spiritual stuff? Was there any particular incident that happened? Was there something going on in your life, or was it more just sort of a gradual shift?
This is a really good question. It's kind of gradual at the same time. Is at one point I have like a big event. When I finished my master degree in neuroscience, and when I came to the United States, I decided to start over and start a pharmacy school. So I just go to pharmacy school and start learning. And I have been a scientist, biologist, and in the science field for a while. I had a belief. I knew that God exists. I believe in God, like almost most of people. And things started to change when I was in my last year of pharmacy school. The last year of pharmacy school, they call it a rotation year or clinical year. We study 5 years, and then the last year we just go to pharmacy or to hospital and follow physician and pharmacist, and where it's like a hand-on year. So at that time, I also had a lot of things going on in my life. I was really sick. I had many health issues. At one point, I was taking like 17 pills just to keep up, and drinking a lot of coffee because I had my daughter was like 1 year old, and so I was in pharmacy school. The load of work is heavy, and I was working as pharmacist intern in a hospital. I was just so busy and there was also relationships stuff going on. So if I get sick, I just take another pill and I go to the physician. They just keep adding to it, and I just to myself, I need to keep going. I need to keep going. And at one point, I have a serious issue with a family member, and I think I have like a mental breakdown. And I was really angry. about a lot of things. My parents, my father didn't really care about us when we were young in Africa. He was really wealthy, but he didn't take care of us. So I just feel like rejected and abandoned. So I have this anger inside of me and many resentment. I was angry about a lot of things that was going on in my own life and in the world. And I'll keep going, and I didn't really pause and take care of myself, my feelings. I would just, if I had a sickness, I just take pills and just keep going. And at one point, I have a mental breakdown, and I say, oh, I cannot keep going like that. And something needs to change. And I decided to forgive people. And I started to read spiritual books, Dr. Wayne Dyer stuff, a lot of spiritual books. And I just decided, I started following Oprah Winfrey show, the Super Soul Sunday. Okay, I say I need to change. Maybe my parents are not going to change. The world is not going to change. Those who have heard me won't, maybe never come back to apologize. I just need to do something and forgive. So I just started in this forgiveness journey, and start praying a lot and doing meditating for hours and fasting. And I was doing that. I just realized that my disease was I was healing somehow. And one health issue after others just keep, and then I would take out, I was be out of this one pill, and I was just feeling better and happier. And so I didn't know what was going on, but I just knew that I was getting healthier and better. So I just started this meditation, prayer, and fasting and forgive. It is a lot of forgiveness, letting go of the anger, resentment, and I was just feeling better. So I was just telling that something is going on. That is because it is not. Some of my disease, they told me that it was incurable, that I have to be on these pills for the rest of my life. And that one also disappeared one day. I said, oh my God, something is happening. And my intuition ability also, when I was meditating and praying, was increasing. I think I was raising my vibration while I was doing that. When you let go of anger, you let go of resentment, you're happier. You are talking about resistance, so you are more like fluid. So my intuition ability start increasing. So in my last year of pharmacy, will be in front of, it is a really hand-on clinical year. So when I was in front of clients, patients, they call me in the clinic with a lot they have had diabetes or health issues or heart issue or any kind of issue. And when I was really pause and be in the present moment and just focusing, and like sometimes I just say an internal prayer, say what is really going on, and I will receive like insight for the patient. And usually it is not connected. I won't say the diabetes due to pancreas or something. It will say I remember one of the patient having anxiety, depression, and then the message that I received for her is that she was abused when she was young, and this is what was the cause of her issue, and it just became anxiety and depression because, and I just knew the message was coming, like I don't know where they are coming from. And then when I come back home, I would tell my husband something is happening. I was receiving message for people, and sometimes people would just come to me and start crying. And when I would tell them it's going to be okay, and this is due to that, or this is due. So sometimes one of client was having a lot of health issues too, and I was telling her that it's maybe connected to feelings, and she just broke down in tears. Say, oh yes, my son died, and she never deal with it, and she just go down from there. So that's why I started to receive messages, and later I just knew later when I was doing more meditation that the message was coming from archangels and angels around me. That's a little bit of the story.
Wow, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. And so, how long ago was that you started really getting these messages from spirit on a regular basis?
It started when I started receiving more messages in 2015. Was my last year of pharmacy when I started to meditating And in my meditation, sometimes I will hear, when I really quiet my mind and fast and pray, sometimes I will hear them. It is really, really different from the thought. We just knew that this is ends come, and sometimes I will see them in my dreams. If like in my dreams telling me stuff, and I will see my dream doing stuff like learning how to heal, and kind of bizarre things started to happening. And one day I remember my daughter was during this time, or since 2016, she has like a bump. She bumped her head when she was in the daycare with something that she has a big bump like that. And I said, oh my God, what is this? And then I would just start praying. I asking, because now I knew that I have archangels and angels around me. Start to praying and I just pray, and then we were eating, and then feel like I can't remember how long it, like 1 or 2 minutes later, I just look at it and the bump disappear, and I was just scared and just jump. I said, oh my God, where is your bump? And she said, I don't know. And she's like 2 years old. She said, oh, it's gone. But I was scared. I said, oh my God, what is happening? How can this happen? And just like miracles and stuff like that, and not only for myself but for client leaders. And I just knew that they are the one who are doing those kind of things.
Right. So I imagine it was kind of a little bit challenging when all this started manifesting, all this started happening, that, you kind of were used to a quote unquote normal sort of life. And now all of a sudden there are all these extraordinary things happening, messages coming to you, these experiences that must have really been, in the beginning at least, a little bit challenging to just know how to deal with it. Did you have a lot of challenges like with your family or with your friends, or were they, relatively speaking, accepting of it because of the past experiences?
Yeah, this is a really good question. I have a lot of, I was afraid of what people were going to think about me, saying that you're talking to angels. It's kind of weird, so I was afraid of the rejection. So I just kept it for myself at the beginning. I just kept it for myself, and I was enjoying the message. And they told me that those messages are to share with people, and say, oh, who am I? Just getting out and saying I'm receiving message from angels. And also scared that my community of scientists and my friend of pharmacists look at me as weird. And so I didn't want to talk about it. So it was, I have like another life when I am at home meditating and praying, and I was like, and I put another face when I was at work. It's like I don't talk about it with anybody because I didn't know what they are going to say. But they just keep telling me, share the message with others, share that you have to write it down. And I'm receiving a lot of messages. Sometimes I will wake up in the night and just start writing stuff. And they say these messages are to be shared with people. And finally, I get out of my fear about rejection, what people are going to think about me. And finally decided to just tell the truth, because people are, you never know who is going to take that seriously, especially for the health issue. I know I talked to some people, they just say, oh, this is who this is. And some people will say, really, my feelings, and I know I talked to someone, and she said, okay, I'm going to talk to my psychologist because I have a lot of issue and I wanted to deal with them and let go. And you never know. And some of my clients come back and tell me that they were healed when they start working on themselves. So you never. And when I saw people being healed, it was so rewarding. So I said, okay, I'm just going to tell the truth. If someone receive it, it's fine. So because you don't never know who is going to take it seriously and get healed or get benefit from it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Because that's all we can do is just share, and it's up to the other person to receive. If they don't want to receive it, that's the way life goes, right? Okay, so it's time for us to take our next break. When we come back, let's talk about just curious, when you started actually embracing this kind of full time, and how you actually work with clients now. I know you've written a few books, and just curious, like how all that evolved. Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you very
wonderful.
much.
You're welcome. So everyone, please stay tuned. You're listening to the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, and we will be right back after this. And welcome back to the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity. We're speaking this hour with Dr. Lilly Koutcho, all about, I guess, her spiritual gifts, we'll call it. So, are you doing this now full time? I'm assuming you are. I don't know. It's been a while.
Yes, I'm doing that this full time, and I have another. I still work as in the pharmacy field, but most of my time I do spiritual work, counseling, and healing.
And what got you to kind of make that decision to kind of switch from sort of the pharmacy world to really focus on this?
It was a little bit like a transition,
Okay.
because I would still come back from work and start working on my books and working on helping clients. So it's like a kind of a transition for me.
And so when you work with clients, how does it kind of typically go? I mean, someone comes to you with some kind of an issue and like, how do you work with them?
I would like to point out that most of I see myself like a conduit or a vessel. So most of the things are like angels, they are servant master around me doing the most the work. So usually people come with health issues, or some people come because they have something going on in their life, challenges. They don't know what to do, what is that, and some people just wanted to know their life purpose. What am I here for? What is my life purpose? And also for coaching. So I do it to like healing from distance, and I do a lot of prayer. And I just realized with time that I get more results when you do your part and then you let the rest to the universe. I remember a few weeks ago I had a client and she has having a lot of health issues. She was in ICU recently and she was getting better. She told me how she all kind of health issues, and we were talking, and she has a lot of things that she was dealing with. A death of a relative and a divorce, all kind of things, and she couldn't see her children. So we just do like counseling. I do a lot of counseling, and sometimes I just come back home and just stop praying because for me sometimes the session doesn't stop when the session ends. Because I was just so touched, so I just praying for her. And then I saw her few weeks later, and she was just so happy and came and said, "Oh my God, this is going on! I'm so happy!" And I said, "Well, what is going on?" And she said, "Oh, she went to her physical therapist. She has a issue with one of her feet, and the thing was getting better. And she said, "Oh my God, my job is getting better, and I get reconnected to my sons." When I haven't seen them for 3 years. So those kind of things, it's just only God who can, angels, the universe who can do that, because some of her issues were related to relationships and job and work. So you cannot fix that in a section. So sometimes you just release it, and the angels usually continue the work, and sometimes just quick, you never know how the result is going to come, but you just know that they have intervened, because she gets connected with her children. Her she's getting better. She say, "I have a new boyfriend, and I'm just happy." So you know that things, and she just say things are just getting better and better and better, and that's all you want.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, do you have any kind of like system of the way you work with people, or is it all just very individualized and really you're just kind of praying and then spirit comes through you and lets you know what to do, and every time it's always different?
Yeah, I think I would say like it is different with every client. because you never know what is going on. You until you just get in front of them and start talking, and it is everybody. Every session is different.
I see. I see. And do you ever do group sessions, or always individuals?
I just do individual session.
Okay. And I imagine now with everything going on, you're doing things virtually or right now?
Yes, I use Zoom and Skype.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you work with people like all over the world or just mostly local?
All over the world, in France, here, everywhere, India,
Great.
and thanks God we have technology and
Yeah.
today, so it is really awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's talk about your books a little bit. What was the motivation to write the first book that came to you?
The first book was a book about affirmation,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going through tough time. So I use affirmation a lot, even for my own healing. I remember one of the health issues that was bothering me. It's not like a huge one. It is an allergy, a sinus allergy that I had since I was a child. So when the weather changes, I will have like stuffy nose and runny nose and headache, so many headache and chronic headache. So it was just, and it's not like a huge big thing like cancer, but it's just so annoying. So because you have it all your life, you have to take those pills every day. And so I use affirmation even doing prayer. In top of doing prayer meditation, I would do affirmation and visualization. So I will visualize myself breathing just healthy with no medication. So I will affirm like every morning. One of my affirmations like I breathe with ease and I breathe with no medication. I go everywhere and I just breathing. So I will be on. Sometimes I go outside on the sun and do my meditation and affirmation. So I use affirmation a lot. So even though I was not seeing results, I would just visualize myself really healthy and breathing with no medication, with assistance of anything, and it just worked. In a couple of years, this sinus allergy disappeared. I have it since I have it for more than 20 years. I was taking medication, it disappeared later on. So I know it works. Prayer, affirmation, visualization. So I heard a lot of affirmation. When I wanted to manifest something, I heard affirmation about it. And start visualization, and then sometimes putting pictures on my vision board. So I start writing a lot of affirmation, and so sometimes I share with friends, relative clients, and then one day I say, okay, I'm just going to put those together and put it in a book, and the first book came about.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And how many books have you written altogether so far?
3.
Oh, 3.
Like in 3 years, I just keep writing, and and my last one is a truth about love. This one is really one of most challenging for me because I wanted just to tell the truth. And I remember I have a section with a client, and we are talking about a lot of things. And I show her that you are a soul. You are not who you are. Your body is just like a vessel or a vehicle that your soul are driving. And we talk about a lot of things. And she will ask me another question. I will reply, and she said at the end, she said, if you haven't worried about this thing, you really need to worry about it because it really changed the way I think. It really changed my life. She told me that like a week later, and I say, oh, I just finished my second book. I don't want to write about another book. And then she said, people really need to know that. So I just started. It came about like question answer. So it's just talk about health, disease, talk about money, talk about a lot of things that currently going on. Somehow it becomes so now like true. But I heard it before the COVID-19, before the Black Lives Matters, but I talk about the truth about the media, the TV, the truth about racism, stuff like that. So now it just become like, but I heard it a little bit before this whole thing started.
Wow. Wow. Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Just a minute before we go to break, I just wanted to ask you: do you ever get like unusual guidance from the angels, like telling you like not to go someplace or to avoid something or do something, and then you find out afterwards, like, oh, thank God I listened because something happened there?
Um, I won't say unusual. What I like to tell people, this intuition thing that we are talking about, the guidance from angels. The truth is, everybody has two guardian angels around them all the time, assigned to them at their birth. Whether you believe in angel or not, it doesn't really matter. You or the universe assigned to you. They are kind of guide when you are born. So everybody has this intuition ability that we are talking about. Everybody, we all have the same potentiality, but it is like just like a muscle. So if you want to exercise more, you exercise your muscle more, you can become like a bodybuilder in it. If that's all you are doing, taking protein, exercising, and doing stuff, you are going to get your nutrition stronger. And the more you start listening to this, the better you are going to get. But everybody has the same originality. And regarding weird things, the intuition usually it is your guide or universe or whoever are guiding you, sending those messages to you. Sometimes the first impression that you have about someone or something, it is the true one. Sometimes you have like, I have a feeling of I shouldn't go there, or I don't feel this. Usually it is the true. But what happens usually that we have this ego, the egoic mind that's talking. It will talk you to, it will say, this is not logical, how can you do this? People are going to think, it will try to rationalize it, but usually your first intuition or your feelings is the only true thing, because the other one doesn't matter. For instance, because I knew what matters for a relationship is how you feel about the people, how the people make you feel. It doesn't matter if they are rich, they say, I am spiritual, or I am kind, or doing a lot of things, but how you feel or how they make you feel, that is really your true guidance or coming from your angels. But usually we dismiss it, or we say, I'm going to try again. Sometimes you see something, say, this is not feeling good, but say, okay, I'm going to try again. Your feelings is the guidance.
Right. Okay, great. Very good. All right, we're going to take our last commercial break of the show. When we come back, I'm just going to ask you if you have any messages for our audience, or for me personally. My audience know I'm an open book, so I always like to ask people. And then I want to talk about your nonprofit, okay?
Okay.
All right.
That's good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Wonderful. So everybody, please stay tuned. You're listening to the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, and we'll be right back after this. And welcome back to the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity. We've been speaking this hour with Dr. Lilly Koutcho, all about sort of the working with our angels and sort of that path to learning to accept our intuition and things. So we don't have a lot of time left, Dr. Lilly. Just want to ask, do the angels give you any messages for our audience?
I haven't asked about the message, but what I would like to tell people is like, we are all loved, and you have angels around you, and I personally see that like as a resource. The thing is they always respect free will, and they will never intervene unless you specifically ask for their help, for their assistance. So just use this resource that is available, reach out in prayer. Example, please help me, universe, or please help me, angels, and it's enough for them to intervene with your and to help you. You will really smoothen your life to be in touch with your soul, with your guide around you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's something good to practice, is just to make it part of your daily meditation practice of, reaching out to your angels and just knowing that they're there for you. So you have a nonprofit organization called Light and Love for Africa. So what's that all about? Why did you start that?
This is a really good question. I think it's one of part of my life purpose. It is something that I really have on heart to help people. Like I told you, I was born in Africa, and I went to school there until high school. And to tell you the truth, I was not one of the brightest. I was not the brightest student in the class. I was just having to be like in the top of the class. But some of my classmates before I was in primary school, some of them didn't get the chance to go to high school or even secondary school, and they were really bright. And when I came here, I became a student and graduated with honor in pharmacy school in the United States. So those children, they are not stupid. It's just like a lack of resources. My mom was a single mom, but I was lucky enough to have my aunts, the sister and brothers of my mother who were helping us because she didn't have money to pay even for our tuition, because the school is not free. So some years we don't know if we are going to get to go to school because we don't have the money to pay for it. So someone will come and buy us a book or help us. And today I'm a pharmacist in the United States, and I graduated before now in pharmacy school. So it just broke my heart when I see really bright children just left out because nobody has $10. Sometimes it's not a lot of money, just $10 to pay the tuition. And so it really broke my heart because I was there. I knew that if nobody came, I won't be where I am today. So just like giving back and helping children there. So I would say we are now in the shifting of the consciousness on the earth with the Black Life Matters. I would say African life matter too, because we are totally equal. If you really understand that, to tell you something, I receive message from my angels, archangels, and even through regression. My last incarnation, I was a white man born in Texas, in a really good family. And today, this incarnation, I was born in Africa. Maybe next time it's going to be you. You really like someone to give you to help you out. So we are totally one, really, right. Because we just take our body and for what we want to learn, what we want to do. So we are totally one, connected to each other. So I like to say God, your universe is like a sea, the ocean, and we all are like a drop of water of this ocean. So we are all connected. So it's really a good thing just to remind people that the person that you are seeing on the whole day, homeless or in Africa, it may be you next time, just maybe 30 years from now, you'll be born there. So just remind people. So I do that, helping children to go to school in Africa.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's something that I've been saying for many, many years now. We're all one people. This is one planet. Borders are artificial. Divisions are completely artificial. Just because someone's skin color is a little bit different, that we're basically the same underneath the skin. And a lot of people, if they just spend enough time in the sun, they're going to get dark too. And other people, it's very silly to me that we divide ourselves so much over skin color, over what people believe in, over sexual orientation. We are all human beings. We're all people, and we're all brothers and sisters. And when we start treating each other like we're all brothers and sisters, then the world truly will be a paradise. We just got a couple of minutes left before we go. So if people want to get in touch with you, learn more about you, where do they go?
Or they can go to my website, www.lillykoutcho.com, and you can see my books on Amazon and also on my website. All of the information on my website.
Right, and that's spelled Lilly, Lilly, Koutcho, KOUTCHO.com.
Correct.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And I understand you have a little special offer for our audience today.
Yes, I have my free books, the free chapter of my books, the Truth About Life available. And you can share the link. They can also find it in my website, the first chapter of my book, The Truth About Life.
Yeah. So we put it into our newsletter this week. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, shame on you. Go to the website, talkradio.nyc, join the tribe, sign up for our newsletter, and so that way you'll get all the links, and we'll post it in the video and everything when it streams. But you definitely want to keep in the know. Well, Lilly, we're out of time. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Now, I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure for me to be here. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And hopefully one day when all this is behind us, if you ever come to New York City, you'll come and visit me. We'll get together, have a cup of tea together or something.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, and before we go, I forgot to remind people, I have a free webinar coming up on the July 21st. Just go to links.talkradio.nyc/find your tribe. It's all about how to use a podcast to effectively find your tribe. And so it's a free webinar. I'm trying to do about them once a month now to support people. So please go check that out. And if you go on the talkradio.nyc website and you go into classes, scroll down a little bit, you'll see a link to register for it there. And we have another Podcast Your Passion intro class coming up the end of July on the 28th. So check all that out. So thank you all for staying with us, for tuning in. I appreciate you all, love you all. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. Next, coming up is Ken Foster and his show, Voices of Courage. And later on today, Antonia Thompson with her show, So Now You Know. And then later after that, Graham Dobbin with his show, The Mind Behind. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Take care.